Jasmine, I am so pleased to have an opportunity to talk with you today and to welcome you. You have been a part of the McCourt community for a while, but you are joining us full time, and we are just so excited to have you.
So much, Dee Maria. It is a pleasure to be here. It was my honor to join the McCourt community a year ago as an adjunct professor, and it is just thrilling to be here in a full-time capacity now, contributing in so many ways to our community.
Can you share a little bit about what inspired you to pursue the work that you've been doing for so long and that you will be bringing to our community?
Absolutely. I feel like my life, both the personal and the professional aspects, have been rooted in social and racial justice forever. I actually grew up visiting my dad in prison and realized the racial injustices in our country that had continued into modern times, and also was raised by a very gender balanced and feminist oriented mom who helped me to also see what women had attained throughout her lifetime and what more was possible. And so those two aspects of my life really helped to inform just the way I saw the world around me, but also the interest that I had academically. So I went on to study sociology, the ways in which our society and individuals shape each other. And that's that work led me to actually applying my knowledge and skills as a qualitative sociologist to one of our critical and maybe most important to me pressing issues in the United States, and that is mass incarceration. And so I've worked for more than 15 years in various capacities addressing those issues, whether it was partnering with public defenders or partnering with members of Congress and the administration to think through how we are working to promote public safety, but also not at the expense or perpetuation of some of our racial injustices that have plagued us for so long.
So you just raised all these issues there. You raised, what I think is the fundamental piece of policy, which is that there are trade-offs, right? So you talked about balancing trade-offs, right? That's part of what we grapple with here, is how to put all those trade-offs out there. Some of them have been more visible to us than others in the past. And we work to try to kind of bring those to our students and to help develop the skills to really think clearly about them. When we talk about rigorously trained, ethically grounded students, that's a big piece of it. And you're talking about the way that your professional and personal history has kind of caused you to develop these skills and bring them to a policy environment, right? What issues are you hoping to explore, particularly while you're here at McCourt?
Well, I am really looking forward to bringing that idea of inclusion and equity, not just to the work that we do, the rigorous studies that we have brilliant students engaging in. And I do mean that our students just blow me away. But also to the community that we're building here in our space here, on campus and when we move, because we have so much to share. We are fortunate to have both domestic and international students and students focused on both of those policy spaces, right? And we have an amazing faculty and staff who also have so much to bear. And we have a real 21st century imperative to start to think through how we bring equity, not just to the spaces that we inhabit, but also to the work that we do to get those policy advances that may be incremental and that may make everyone's stomach turn. I guess that's sort of the, everyone being unhappy is the sign of a good compromise.
Good compromise, right.
If we could wave a magic wand, we would. But these issues are complex that we work on, and it's important to fully understand a plurality of views, but also to incorporate the critical view of people who are directly impacted by those policies as well. So these are just a few of the things that I hope to bring to the way we exist at McCourt.
Well, that sounds great for us in general, and I would say particularly critical for your role leading the policy lab. Can you tell us a little bit about, what drew you to that work and what plans you have?
The Policy Innovation Lab, I think, and I guess I'm biased, is McCourt's gem. I think that the ability to have a policy practicum opportunity for our students, particularly to partner in Washington, D.C., east of the river in Ward 7 and 8, which have historically been marginalized and underserved, is one of the most amazing and impactful opportunities we can offer. The ability to marry the educational environment and academic rigor with the tangible experience working with residents, organizations, and agency representatives and DC administrators will be unparalleled for our students who are moving on to become, our future thought leaders and policy practitioners. So this is just a thrill for me.
Well, we're very excited to have you joining us and leading that work in particular. And I know it's one of the really meaningful experiences for the students that participate, and we're really looking forward to expanding the scope of the program and the number of students who can participate. So that's going to be a great area of growth, I think, for the school. So we've talked, it sounds like all these things weave together, but I want to kind of ask you if there's any topics that you're passionate about that people might not know about. I have a guess what you might say, but we'll because we've chatted a couple of times, but I'll let you answer.
Well, I think the one thing that people may not know, but eventually come to learn, is that I love rap music. And I wrote my master's thesis on rap music as a political forum. And for me, I am always able to use that artistic expression and, again, political forum to bring to bear some of the many issues that we talk about in life and in policy. So that's one of the things. Like, I'm always listening to rap music or reggae music. But and I love nature. I'm a Girl Scout, lifetime member of the Girl Scouts, and I'm active in my son's Cub Scout troop, or pack. It's hard to make the adjustments. And I really enjoy spending time in nature, hiking, biking, exploring. I just think, what we have is so beautiful. And the restorative value, I think, just being in green, in fresh air is invaluable.
So you will find some fellow practitioners and enthusiasts here at the McCourt community, I know. So we've talked a lot about the things you're excited about and the lab. Are there other things, like as you think about being a full-time member of our faculty, what is most exciting to you?
Well, given my remit around social and racial justice and supporting our department in thinking about how we foster an environment that supports those issues or ways of, meeting people, but also ways that we might incorporate that more intentionally into our coursework. And I would like for this office, though it is not yet decorated, to be a safe space and a respite and an opportunity for individuals, both or all students, faculty, and staff, to be able to come and get resources, to have a sounding board and a thought partner in how to navigate their academic career into their professional career for our students, and for our faculty and staff to really think about what it means to be a part of congenial community, but also really pushing to make sure that everybody is involved and everybody is welcome, and that we are mirroring that for our students, as well as infusing it into their academic opportunities and knowledge building.
That's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about your joining us, and why your arrival comes at such a critical time. We really are focused on becoming the most inclusive public policy school in the nation. And one of the things that means is creating an environment where everybody can thrive. And I know you said you try not to focus on the difficult conversation framework, and I have some empathy for that perspective. At the same time, I really feel like one of the things we really need to do at the McCourt School is create an environment where we can have conversations about the issues that are on our mind, and where we can create an environment where there are a variety of perspectives and we can really be able to hear one another. Lots of work to be done. And, sometimes I think, oh, this is going to be hard. And then I think, why would we be bothering if it were easy? We're not called upon to do only easy things. We're called upon to do hard things. And really excited to have the resources that you bring to help us make good progress on that. Now, you mentioned career advice and being available, but I want to ask you the last two questions that I ask everybody that I have an opportunity to talk with. One of them is, what is the best piece of career advice that you have ever received?
Oh, that is definitely always advocating for yourself. And it's not only because you are really your best advocate and you are the only person who actually works for you, yourself, but also because it helps an individual to see your tenaciousness and your competency and your ability to follow up. Because in the policy world, no is just a starting off point. And so, if I know that you're able to advocate for yourself and to provide follow-up information and, connect the dots, then I know that you're going to be able to do that on whatever issues that we are trying to advance. And so I just think always taking the opportunity to say, interesting, and, because you're always working towards that yes. So I would say that.
That's a great piece of advice. And last but not least, what book is on your nightstand that you would tell us about?
Oh my goodness, this could have been our whole conversation. I love books. One of the best parts about becoming an adjunct was I knew that I would have a whole cadre of folks to discuss books with, and that my friends would get a break. So, okay, I just finished an amazing book called To Raise a Boy by, what is her name? Emma Brown. And it is all about, this is the reporter who Christine Blasey Ford first worked with. And she's a local DC reporter, actually. She covers an education beat. And so she had also followed some stories about sexual violence among student athletes in Washington, DC. Mm-hmm. So she sort of put this idea together as a mother of a son to say sort of like, what's going on with our boys? Mm-hmm. It is an intense but insightful read that I actually think everyone should read. I read it because I too am a mother of a boy, but now I think this book should be read far and wide. I'm also rereading Chocolate City because of the work that I'm doing with the Policy Lab. And that has brought me to already plan for next week to read this new fiction book called Liberty. And this is the name of a young woman who is raised post-emancipation by her mother, who is a practicing freed woman doctor. And Liberty gets to learn what it means to provide medical care to a community, and how mental health and medical care sort of go together, and what it meant to sort of try to build a thriving life after emancipation.
Wonderful.
So
that's an eclectic set of recommendations.
Working with right now, but I do every night listen to a snippet or read a little bit of my favorite novel, which is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And it is a beautiful love story. And she is an amazing story weaver. Her book, The Starless Sea, is also amazing.
Wow. Well, that's a great set of recommendations. And thanks again, Jasmine, for speaking with me. And it's great to have you down the hall. For people who can't recognize your office yet, you are on the second floor. And we're just so pleased to welcome you to the community and look forward to next steps.
I am so excited to be here and get down to business.